Hello, fellow Star Wars fans. My name is Starrapter, and welcome back to the channel. It's the week of January 22nd, 2025 in comics, and we have a big one, a headliner, if you will. We have the final issue of the Battle of Jakku to talk about. This is the Battle of Jakku, Last Stand, issue number 4, of course, written by Alex Segura, with artwork by Jethro Morales. This one is called Endgames, but before we get started, make sure if you are a fan of Star Wars comics, you want to stay in the know, you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. That way you'll never miss another video and content in this realm of Star Wars and more. So getting into it, this really brought it together. I do believe that Alex Segura and team have stuck the landing on this one. There's been some bumps along the road, but I think overall this has been a great story. So diving into this issue that concludes the entire series, we start off with seeing Ray Sloan marching on Jakku, trying to go against Gallius Rax, who basically to her betrayed him, betrayed her, right? So we go into that. We get to see appearances by Armitage Hux, a young Armitage Hux, and his father, Brendel Hux. We get to see Luke Skywalker entering into the Jakku space with Rin in order to board Adelhard's ship, right? Because we have three factions. We have the New Republic, we have Gallius Rax's Imperial Remnant, and we have the rogue group of Adelhard, who is has an alliance with the Acolytes of the Beyond, as well as the Spice Runners of Kijimi. So they are all threats, and Adelhard wants them to all go down. So basically, Luke already has information that the Spice Runners are going to destroy Adelhard, going to turn against him. So he has to make sure that he sees the defeat of Adelhard personally, because when we've seen him last time, seen Adelhard and Adelhard escape. So he can't let that happen again. So there they are, Rin and Luke Skywalker in the Jakku space, trying to get aboard that Star Destroyer. They use codes from the one officer, the lieutenant, to get them in there. So there's this one moment between Luke and Rin, which really rung true for me. The idea that, you know, Luke giving her advice, she's kind of giving into anger because one of their officers went down. So she's just kind of like, oh no, Theresa Lern is dead. I have aggression. And Luke is saying, hey, that aggression, that retribution is not going to give you clarity at the end of it. It's just revenge. Vengeance does not do that. So we got this great sage post Return of the Jedi Luke going on about great advice. We also get to see what is happening with Adelhard and Reyna. Reyna Escure, who is the kind of like a leader of the Acolytes of Beyond. She is apparently working for Zeva Bliss. Zeva Bliss gives the order, and Reyna is undercover and tries to assassinate Adelhard once again. Adelhard gets the upper hand, stabs her, but just in enough time to know that that's when they get turned on. So we have the Millennium Falcon flying in with Lando, and they're just doing massive, massive damage. Meanwhile, Luke is confronting Adelhard, and Adelhard, of course, wouldn't stand a chance against Luke. And Luke is trying to save Adelhard, right? He is still a Jedi Knight at heart. He's trying to save Adelhard, and that is when Rin comes in and shoots him. And that's a bad moment because Luke is like, oh, I was trying to save him and all, and they escape on the Millennium Falcon. Meanwhile, we have the space battle with Admiral Akbar, and we have the one character, a Gate, who is on the Concorde, which is one of the three Starhawks, and they're having trouble dealing with this Ravager Superstar Destroyer. It's giving everybody trouble, and they end up doing this sacrifice where they're kind of like the hammered cruisers, sort of like in Rogue One, where they kind of pin it and drive it down to the atmosphere of Jakku. That is the same ship, everybody, that we see in The Force Awakens when Rey is flying through there with the Millennium Falcon, evading the First Order ties, by the way. So nice little Easter egg there for those of you that did not know that. But yeah, it's really cool to see that all these characters ended up being there. Han was there to some degree. Luke was there at the Battle of Jakku for some degree. And apparently this battle lasted for several months, even after the Ravager fell to the planet there. That's kind of like the official end of the Empire when that ship crashed down. But there's many battles left to come. We get a nice little image here at the end where we get to see Lando, Luke, Leia, Han, and a newborn Ben Solo, everybody. We get to see that happen. We've seen Leia pregnant for pretty much the entirety of this 12-issue maxi series. So see the culmination of that. Plus, we get this epilogue because This is going to be really interesting. We have this epilogue on this planet. This planet is called, let's see, it's called Pyros. It's in the ephemeral sector. There's a character that is a prime minister, and apparently they're not very happy with the New Republic government post Battle of Jakku. Now the New Republic is the lead big government out there replacing the Empire. And they're not happy. Whoever this person is, they're in cloaks, they're in a cantina, and I'm thinking it is Reyes Skura who is promising this prime minister through corruption that he would get maybe even his independence of his star system from the New Republic. He would get weapons and whatnot. So this is clearly leading into whatever might come next for the Star Wars comics. It was interesting that Reyes Skura was left to live. Now, this character, the Prime Minister refers to Reyes Skura as Praetor, but maybe that's her code name. I don't know if she's working with Grand Admiral Ray Sloan in the unknown regions, trying to get some money and stuff for the First Order support. Hopefully, that will be supported in someday, but. Overall, I really, really like this issue. I think Alex Segura did a great job of really bringing in all the different elements. It wasn't easy. Sometimes I feel like the Akbar and the Yagate stuff kind of felt like a little bit out of left field. I know they're trying to tell the macro story as well as the micro story of what we're seeing more with Luke, Han, and Leia. But it was good to at least know what's happening around it. Again, for people that want to know the whole full story, you're gonna have to read the Aftermath trilogy. That is going to give you a lot more clarity to what's happening around everything that's happening right now. So good stuff there, but. Overall, the Battle of Jakku, I'm going to recommend this to any new comic book reader. If somebody wants to get on board to Star Wars comics, I mean, there's not much more tantalizing than saying, hey, do you want to know what happened to Luke, Han, and Leia right after Return of the Jedi? Go ahead, pick up this comic book series because we haven't really had anything like that so far that takes place so close to Return of the Jedi. Obviously, we're seeing Luke in the Mandoverse, right? But this is taking place like 4 years before that, so we're getting to see that fresh-faced Luke, what he's doing around there. Han wasn't in this a whole lot, but we get to see a lot of Leia dealing with the legacy of her father, dealing with the New Republic as a fledgling government. So there's a lot of good in here. There's a lot of cool stuff with the crime syndicates trying to get a vacuum of power, seeing the different imperial groups even warring against one another really is a great job of showcasing what we've seen over the last several years of whether it be squadrons, whether it be Shattered Empire, right? All these other different mediums of Star Wars have kind of covered this ground. Alphabet Squadron by Alexander Freed is another great example. So it really brings everything together in a nice concise way. Yeah, there might be some gripes for some folks out there saying, hey, this does not match one-to-one with a lot of other canon. But when you're looking at this thing in a vacuum, it does work for the story that Alex is trying to tell. So with that, I definitely recommend this one. Looking forward to many other stories coming to Star Wars in the future. That's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more on Star Wars and comics and more. That's going to do it for me here. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always.